Step into a journey where every step is packed with purpose, insight, and empowerment. This is Walk with Wisdom with your host, Genevieve Wisdom. Walk with Wisdom is a dynamic podcast series designed for men and women 40 and over who are ready to embrace their best years yet. Life at this stage isn't about slowing down. It's about leveling up. Each episode is a walkthrough guide to mastering life's transitions, rediscovering passions, and thriving physically, mentally, and emotionally. We bring you expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable strategies to help you stride confidently into a future of vitality and fulfillment. So now, please welcome the host of Walk with Wisdom, Genevieve Wisdom.
Hi, everyone. I'm Genevieve Wisdom, and welcome back to Walk with Wisdom, a lifestyle show on youthful aging, which is looking good and feeling amazing as we age with zest, zeal, perseverance. This platform is for those of us who are getting younger, 40 plus, men and women, and we just talk about all those things that we traverse through life. Now, thank you for our valued followers already because we started to do this walk in February, and so many of you have come back week after week. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing so. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. Please give a thumbs up. And of course, all the audio platforms everywhere. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us a thumbs up. And of course, follow us on Bold Brave TV. That way we can be connected. This show is awesome. When I started this, we were talking about menopause, which is one of the major changes that we do as we go through life. And we talked about it from a women's perspective. Today, we're going to talk about it from a men's perspective. I'm just going to move my mic. I have two amazing guests. I'm going to bring them up right now. And while they're here, I will do special introduction. It's Andrew, and Bruce is back to help us walk through this episode. Hi, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Andrew, and hi, Bruce.
Hey, Genevieve. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. Andrew,
Long time no talk. Long time no talk.
talk. Andrew, I'm gonna sorry, my mic keeps falling here. I probably need some hormones. We'll talk about that later. Andrew, I'm gonna start off by just talking a little bit more about what the conversation is on this podcast. Then I'll introduce you specifically. Everyone remembers Bruce. So, this week's episode of Walk with Wisdom, we talk about demystifying men's health. We're going to focus on andropause, as I like to call it here. Andrew and Bruce knows menopause. I heard that somewhere. We'll figure out where I heard that, but it has a ring to it. When women go through the change, men also goes through a change. And I'm so grateful to have you, Andrew and Bruce, talk about things like effective strategies to maintain testosterone health, muscle mass, and overall well-being. Now, I'm going to introduce Andrew specifically. So, Andrew Menawera is a physician educator and product specialist with Canfor of Naturals and Cytomatrix. He specializes in detailing medical doctors, naturopathic physicians, and pharmacists on clinical, effective natural health products so they can navigate the increasingly complex supplement industry and find the right products for their patients. Andrew became involved in the natural health and supplement industries in 1992. Andrew, you're not that old. You look so young. You're going to give the
Yeah.
men and me hints on that. So,
Am I? Really?
1992. Yes, you look young. He worked at all levels of the natural health industry, contract manufacturing, product development, category management, professional sales, medical education, retail pharmacy, retail health food, medical management, and entrepreneur. Wow. That's a mouthful. Andrew also has an extensive background in performance athletics, including mixed martial arts, CrossFit, and coaching, functional strength training, running, and cycling. Bruce,
Hmm.
you and I are tired, I know, just listening to all of that. Wouldn't you say?
Sorry.
I think I worked up a sweat there.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Sorry. I tend to like to do a lot of different things.
No, that's awesome. So, gentlemen, we're going to start today. I'll just quickly reintroduce Bruce, just because he's here with us the entire time. Sorry about adjusting this mic here. Bruce, of course, has his holistic health background, not unlike myself. Everyone has come to know Bruce and I. What we do is we take the complicated, make it simple, and when we have an amazing guest like Andrew, we thought today we can have a three-way conversation on men. So, gentlemen, I didn't want to leave the men out on youthful aging because we all go through a change. And so the first category, we're going to have Q&A, but it's more like a category. The first
Mhm.
category that I wanted to start off with is the changes that men go through, let's say 40 and over, because that's our demographic. By the way, everyone, thank you for the younger demographic who tunes in. So, Andrew, Bruce knows this. We have younger people, of course, in the perimenopause stage, perimenopause stage, but you want to start taking care of your health earlier before you get to over 40. So, I'm sure you'll address that, Andrew. Andrew, what are the top three things that you see men go through when they're aging and they really need some help fixing, which we're going to talk about today?
Well, what I'm going to talk about in as an answer to this question comes from my own aging as a guy who kind of is shocked that he's not invincible anymore. And number two is from relating to my time with clinics and doctors, what they ask me questions about for product solutions. So when you're young, there's really nothing that you really need to worry about except whatever you're worrying about internally. Externally, your body functions fairly well, and we take that for granted. And then as the years go by, slowly but slowly, you realize, wow, I'm sore, or that's not healing, or I feel a little off. And that happens more and more and more. And then one day you notice, wow, I'm a little fat in the midsection, or I can't do the things that I used to do. I don't have the energy. Now, all of these changes are gradual. So, for example, the statistic that's used in the medical profession is that usually after about the age of 40, a man's testosterone will drop about 1% per year. So,
After what age, sorry, Andrew? After what age?
40 years
After,
old.
okay.
Yeah, so at about 40. Now, a lot of these statistics about testosterone decreasing and also muscle mass decreasing and body fat increasing, the opposite of the things that we don't want happening or that we do want happening, these have more to do, and this is my own opinion, about our lifestyle than about anything due to our genetics that we can't control. In other words, there's more that you can do to control how you age and your what we call your health span in your lifespan, because you want a really big health span to encompass your lifespan. If you have a very short health span in which you're healthy and then the rest of your life you're battling disease and dysfunction, that is a short health span. So you want a big health span to complement a long lifespan. So because we can't control how long we're going to live, but we can control how we live. And so this has more, how you look and how you feel and how you're able to move has more to do with, number one is exercise. So if you're sedentary, that is going to be the biggest risk factor for dropping your testosterone, because testosterone, actually one of the biggest ways to reduce testosterone or to increase testosterone is to lose body fat. So
Wow.
as we become older, we also become more sedentary. And sometimes we know that we're sedentary. Other times we actually aren't aware of what a difference our bodies, our movement patterns are from when we were younger. So to answer your question, I think the age-related changes that we notice are not due to some definable event in men like menopause is in women. It's due to a cumulative effect of being sedentary, not eating enough nutrient-dense food at the right time, and then having a high stress level coupled with poor sleep patterns.
Wow, thank you for that. Bruce, can you jump in here? I wanted your perspective, of course, being a male and being with me all these weeks on what Andrew just mentioned.
Well, I just want to move forward. Like, what do we do about this? So how do you get all this back? How do you start exercising? I had a dream the other night. I went running and I woke up stiff and sore. How do we get to the point where we can, thank you. How do we get to the point where we can actually start running again and not be stiff and sore?
Well,
And the nutrient dense eating.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it all.
Absolutely.
Well,
Andrew, before you answer, I just want to say this. When we started this podcast, I set everyone up that this is real life. So when we talk here, we're allowed to laugh, we're allowed to have notes, we're allowed to be real. And so, Bruce, I picked up on his humor, which is why I laughed. And just quickly an aside, there's a Canadian comedian who said the same thing, that he was limping the next day and someone goes, "Oh, did you work out?" And he goes, "You know, you're getting older when." He goes, "No, I just slept and I woke up and I'm limping like I worked out." And he was over 40. So now, Andrew, you're going to answer to that, how to help you men get that va-va-va-voom back.
Well, I think what happens internally is reflected externally. So how you look and how you function is comes down to what you're doing on a regular basis or not doing, and that starts in the mind. So there's a little formula that I actually learned called, and this is a formula to help you get through any kind of roadblock. And I kind of, whenever I'm stopped or I don't want to do something, I think about it. So the formula is big P equals little p minus I. So what this means is big P is performance. And performance can mean anything that you want to achieve. It could be a goal. So in the original version of the formula, it was P, but I substitute goals. The second, so equals little p. Little p is potential. So it's, what are your capabilities? What are your skills? What do you bring to the table right now? Minus I. And I is the most important thing in you getting your big P. It's not your potential, but it's your I. And I is interference. And what is interference? Interference are the things internally in your own mind, usually evidenced by a self-talk pattern. Usually we talk ourselves into and out of things. So if you say, "Hey, I want to go do a run," like Bruce was saying, instantly we'll generate some conversation around it in our mind. That's I. If that's not supporting us, that's I. If it's supporting us, it's not I. So I is interference. And interestingly, most of us focus a lot of our time and our energy trying to acquire information, skills, and those are all in the little p category. That's increasing your potential. So you can read all the books, you can learn all the theory, but unless you get into action by reducing that I, nothing's going to happen because the big P isn't going to change. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Bruce?
Yeah. Now,
yes, absolutely.
I cannot take credit for this. This information is from a phenomenal book from Tim Galloway called The Inner Game of Tennis. So if any of your listeners want to look at that, then this is probably, I think, from the 90s or 2000s. And this is where I learned this formula. So let's focus on reducing the interference. And how you do that is, if you want to do the number one biggest thing you can do to change your life, improve your testosterone levels, improve your muscle mass, is to exercise. To get us to exercise, what I find is the most effective is, as soon as you roll out of bed, have your shoes, your socks, and your workout gear right on your bed. So you roll into that, put that on. Don't put your slippers on. Don't put your pajamas on. Don't put your robe on, because you're not going to be in the right mindset. And then go for a walk. Got to get yourself moving. Now, if you have a dog, this is a lot easier. I have a dog. He loves to get up in the morning and raise hell, so I don't have a choice. And then from there, I have my cup of coffee, good or bad, and then I head out. How do you exercise? Now, when you're young, and young can be, you're as young as you feel, but biologically young, in your 20s, let's say, you can get up and you can start doing intense training programs with very few side effects other than muscle soreness.
Right.
You might pull a muscle, but you're going to recover, you'll live. As you get older and more sedentary, there is a higher risk of tearing things that don't fix as easily. So ligaments, tendons. I remember going to a Pure Pharmacy bowling party. And Bruce, I don't know whether you were there, but
No, I didn't make that one.
I just started training, and I felt pretty confident about myself because I was able to train consistently for 4 weeks after a layoff. And I was bowling like crazy. And the next day, both my knees were so inflamed, I could barely walk. So that was a wake-up call. So again, as we age, I think it's important to start things off slowly and maybe have a functional trainer or a coach assess your body in conjunction with a physician to say, hey, look, this is your limit. These are the things you got to watch out for. These are the movements you don't want to do. These are the exercises and the type of activity you want to stay away from. Because the goal is to get from where you are to where you want to end up. But you might have to take a different route than another person. So, like on a map, if you want to get from here to Calgary, it depends where you start off to determine your route. And so everybody is starting off at a different place, especially if you're older and you've been sedentary. A lot of what you have to develop is mobility, stability, and basic core ligament fascial strength. You don't want to jump into something where you're exerting your muscles and trying to build them up too quickly, or you don't want to run out there and do HIIT training when you don't have a basic aerobic base. So gradual, slow. You want to balance the nervous system. There's a part of your nervous system that's a brake called the parasympathetic, and a part that's called the accelerator, which is the sympathetic. You want to balance those as you're training. You need to rest. You need to stress and rest, stress and rest.
I
So
love
that's
that.
the long and short of it. Because the biggest mistake I see is people have a long layoff. They're like, it's New Year's, I want to do something. We'll start the diet, and then bang, they head out for a run, not realizing that maybe their ankle articulation is not that great. Maybe they have really tight calves and they end up injuring their Achilles or their calf, and then of course they're hobbling around and they give up. Or worse, you
Uh,
get a knee injury, right? Meniscus tear, or
Absolutely.
right? These are
Absolutely.
all really important things to look at, and that's why I recommend people get a movement coach when they're starting off from being sedentary.
Fantastic. Andrew, it's a perfect time. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, Bruce, I would love to hear you give us some thoughts on that, but we're going to take a break right now for our sponsors. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. I'm Genevieve Wisdom. Welcome back to Walk with Wisdom. Today I'm here with Andrew and Bruce. We're talking about men's health, primarily men's health over 40, a stage called andropause, which we'll define a little bit later on specifically what that is, or what I like to call is menopause. We started off on a great discussion. And Andrew, what I really love is you're talking about foundational things. I mean, there's so many things that we can do, but the foundational thing is exercise. Now, everyone remember, go to your primary care practitioner. We're just having a discussion here. It's our podcast, it's our walk with wisdom. We get to talk and walk, but go to your primary care practitioner. And everything that we talk about here is having a conversation to help you understand why they may recommend certain things. So, Bruce, I would love to hear what you have to add with about what Andrew said.
I really liked what Andrew had to say, the stress and rest. And I think I've mastered the rest part of it. So now we have to deal with the stress part. So I
Yes.
was thinking, I was just wondering, because, I'm in this stage of life as well, right? And I'm starting to lose
Mhm.
my muscle mass. I'm starting to put on a belly. And what's a good way to start? Like, I know you can't just say, do these things because you don't know our health levels, but like, is biking pedal biking a good way to get into it, or swimming, or what's a good easy exercise that everybody could do? Not everybody, but safely do if you're in some form of relative shape.
Good question.
Yeah.
That also depends on your level, what you're interested in, because you're not going to do something if you're not interested in it and you don't find it fun. So the first thing I would urge people to do is find something fun that you will stick with. If you don't want to cycle, then you can do other things. I happen to be a cycling geek, so I love cycling. But I would urge people to get strong first, because an activity, which you're talking about, doesn't necessarily translate into improvement of strength and stability and mobility. To do that, you have to consciously work on some specific things. So, what I would look at is working on stabilizing your structure from the bottom up. And one of the things that I'm very aware of is how people mess up their calves, their feet, wearing improper shoes. Women with high heel shoes, but we're talking about guys. But I mean, some guys wear high heel shoes. But so I'm not judging,
Right? No judgment.
not pointing at anybody else here. But if you do happen to have issues with your heels and your feet, one of the things you want to do is to make sure you do heel drops. So you find a stair and you gradually drop your heels one at a time and stretch out that tendon and the ligaments in your lower legs. It feels like the bottom of a calf raise. And once you get stronger, then you can start to do calf raises. So a heel drop at minimum to calf raises. The other thing we want to do is we want to practice walking. And when you walk, you want to try and keep your feet straight and walk heel toe. When you run in a different movement patterns. We won't get into that, but walking, I think, is a phenomenal thing to start off with. And the other important thing with walking is a lot of people can get shoulder injuries from walking because their thumbs are not pointed straight ahead. So when you're walking, keep your thumbs pointed straight ahead of your body instead of like this. And that's one of the reasons why I like using walking sticks. So if you have walking sticks and you can do trails, hikes, where you're walking on soft ground, we evolved on walking on soft surfaces, not on hard concrete. So walking in nature on a gravel trail would be much better for you than walking on the sidewalk. But if the sidewalk's all you got, you start there. So that's one. Number two is you
That's
need to be able to
interesting.
do.
Hang on one moment, Andrew.
Yeah,
One moment, because I want to do this walk with you, walk with wisdom. Okay, Bruce,
yeah.
did you know that people threw their shoulders out with their hands turned backwards when they're walking? Is that what I just
I
heard?
was act- I was actually going to ask, how's the mechanism of that work? How do you throw your
Yeah.
shoulders out without pointing your thumbs the wrong direction?
Because what
Yeah.
happens is as you age or you get weaker, your shoulders will turn in. So you'll wing your arms out, and when you wing your arms out and you're swinging them when you're walking, you're moving your shoulder in a way it wasn't designed to move. And so usually you're hunched over like this. A lot of people don't realize it. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to recommend some exercises to do using something called a TRX. And a TRX is, or you can use bands, either. I carry a TRX and bands around in a backpack in my car, so I can train anywhere, in a playground, in a park. I just wrap the band or the TRX around, and there are some basic movements that you want to do to make sure that your posture is such that when you put your hands to your side, your thumbs point straight ahead and not your palms facing forward or backward.
Perfect.
So the basic exercises, other than the heel drop, calf raises, number one would be something like a squat. So you need to be able to squat and come back up. So that's one movement you need to be able to do. Because if you cannot maintain any of these movements as you age, you will lose your ability to move eventually. And the two things that take away our freedom and our autonomy will be losing your mobility and losing your mind. And the two are linked. So
I get that.
as we get, right? Like it's,
Wow.
when you're young, you take for granted that you're strong and you can recover. But hey, get a knee injury, twist your ankle, you realize, just how intricate everything is linked. So squat is one exercise. The second is a hinging movement. And a hinging movement is anything where your bum goes back first, your knees stay in the same position, and something like in the functional training world, we call it a deadlift. So you need to be able to do a deadlifting hinging movement because that works the rear chain of muscles. The third thing is you need to be able to properly contract your core. And so every exercise you do, you need to be able to create a brace with your core. And that tightens up all the abdominal cavity and takes the stress off your lower back. Because a lot of people don't know how to do the basic. Another time when I come on, I can talk to people about what I learned from my coach about how to do a brace so that you're not putting yourself at risk for a low back injury or a disc herniation when you are doing basic movements. The third movement you want to be able to do is a pressing movement. So like a bench press. So that's really important. Another movement you need to be able to do is a pulling movement, like a bent over row, because you need to be able to push and you need to be able to pull your upper body. And the last one is a movement overhead, so like a pressing over your head like this. So these are the basic movements that you need to be able to do in order to be functional for your life. And then you need some cardiovascular fitness, and that would be starting with the walking. And I would recommend something where you're actually putting your spine under load, because that's how you maintain your bone density as well. Interestingly, swimming does not maintain your bone density because of the buoyancy effect of water. So if you are, say, osteoporotic or you're losing your bone mass, and it does happen to men too, then swimming might be a good start, but you need to add in other things like walking, elliptical training. Running may not be the best way to get your activity in the beginning until you get strong enough, because running requires actually a lot of coaching so that you're not landing on your heels and creating a lot of trauma for your low back. There's a way to run where you're using the springiness of your tendons and ligaments to drive yourself forward with a lot of kinetic energy. But unfortunately, most people...
In here, Andrew,
Yeah.
I need to jump in here talking about running. I don't think we talked about our background, but Bruce and I have the same background. We'll do that on another show. Anyway, I sprinted when I was younger. So this all has to do with what's going on with us aging. When I met
Mhm.
my husband, which was in my 50s, I got married and he's talking about being a sprinter and how fast he was. So I said to him, I'm looking at him. He was born in Canada. He has a Dutch background. And okay, I'm a Canadian, pardon me, a Jamaican Canadian girl. So I have this sprinting genetics. So I challenged him to a sprint. And then something bad happened called menopause. Now he keeps saying, let's go for that sprint. And I'm going, I can't even walk. I don't know how to sprint. So what Andrew is talking about, everyone, it's absolutely about the men, but it's for the girls too. So thank you so much, Andrew, for talking about how we change and how sprinting is not where you want to challenge someone when you're in your mid 50s.
Not right.
Start walking
Not
versus
yeah.
laughing
Not
at
right
me.
away. Yeah, not right away. Ideally, you want to get into the place where you can do sprinting movements and plyometrics, where you're able to do jumping maneuvers, where you can skip, where you can lift weight very quickly. Because the other thing about aging is when we lose muscle, as men and women, we lose a lot of the fast twitch type 2 fibers. And those fibers you will not get back by lifting tiny little dumbbells or doing band work. You need to be able to lift at some point, challenge yourself so that you're going to failure. And you need to lift quickly as well, or lift slowly, but you need to lift. So the rule is you either lift quickly or you lift slow and heavy. And either of those can cause injury if you're just coming off a layoff. So you need to build up to that by increasing your connective tissue strength and your cardiovascular base. So it's a little bit of like unwrapping, a knotted shoelace. You can't just, go in there and pull on it because it's just going to get tighter.
So
Absolutely.
I gather, sorry, Jen,
Yes, sir.
I gather
No,
that you're thinking that we should get a trainer before we go out and start doing all these things. Is that kind of what you're suggesting?
Get just like we go for a physical to figure out, how healthy are we do our blood work. It's always good to get somebody who knows what they're doing to do a movement screen. And there are a lot of personal trainers who will just beat the crap out of you and don't know what they're doing. Do not go to those trainers. They're great for young people. What I would recommend is going to somebody like the trainer I have, who's also a naturopathic physician, and she does movement screens, and she'll actually look at your body at rest and moving and say, okay, well, this is your imbalance, and then this is how you compensate when you move. You have to know this. And when you know this, you can work around it and get yourself back into balance, and then you can start to challenge yourself, and then you won't get injured. You'll just make progress. That's the goal.
fantastic place to take a break. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for introducing this, Andrew and Bruce. We'll be right back, everyone. And Bruce, I'll get you to start off when we come back. Hi, everyone. I'm Genevieve Wisdom. Welcome back to Walk with Wisdom, a podcast on youthful aging, looking good, feeling amazing as you age, especially 40 and over. I have two amazing gentlemen here today, Andrew and Bruce. They are both experts in so many areas. You can go back and listen at the beginning of the show when I introduced Andrew. And Bruce has been with us now for, oh my goodness, Bruce, has it been like 5 or 6 shows? Can
I
you
think this is
imagine?
number 5. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah, I think.
yes. Absolutely. So, everyone, go back, look at our last shows. The reason why I want these men here is we're talking about menopause, hormonal changing, and I didn't want to leave the men out. Andrew, Bruce, I never believe in leaving the men out because we all change and we all change as we get younger, as I like to call it. Bruce,
Mhm.
can you do a comment? Before we do that, everyone, thank you, by the way, for doing all the comments that you're doing on our lives, which is YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. I see the comments. What's really helpful for us, because the show is so packed full of information, we don't really have time right now to go through your questions. Send us an email. Bruce and I share the same email, wisdom@walkwithwisdom.ca. If you wanted to talk to Andrew directly or get his contact, send an email. And that's the best way for us to talk. Bruce, what do you think about what Andrew said last time about, P, big P, little p? I was concerned at first. Thank you. You clarified that.
Well, I think, I mean, obviously it's our self-talk that talks us out of doing all these things. Let's go for a walk. Well, it's raining. I don't have a warm enough coat. So the self-talk's really important. I get that. But I'd like to skip to the stabilizing part. I heard somebody say a while ago, and I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you can support me on this or back me up, Andrew. But
Mhm.
people over 60, a greater percentage of people over 60 can't get off the ground without assistance of grabbing a coffee table or a chair or something. And if you go back to what you're talking about with stabilizing and the different exercises you're talking about, all of these would help someone be able to get up off the ground, which is very important because then you've got I've fallen, I can't get up scenario. And so
Yeah.
is that sort of an accurate thing? Have you heard that before?
Well, I don't know the exact statistics, but if you look around at our society, you'll see a great many people who have walking dysfunction. They can't run. They can't put their shoes and socks on without sitting on something. Uh, Tying up your shoelaces becomes more of an issue as you get older. So yeah, I see it. And when I got injured or when I get sedentary, the first thing that tightens up is my low back, and it's tough to tie my shoelaces, put my shoes on. Even getting into your pants can be hard. So this is a very functional thing to pay attention to as we get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of where I was. That's kind of what I was thinking with this. I thought it was really interesting thinking about just day-to-day things we do. But moving from there, how about defining andropause for us? Like really nailing it down.
Well, andropause isn't actually a definable condition like menopause is, because that's got a whole culture and a medical science around it. And andropause is actually when the testosterone level drops to a low level where you actually notice that you are putting weight on, that you don't have energy, that you're cranky all the time, that you're losing muscle mass, and you generally are getting weaker. And it's gotten to a point where the effects have stacked and your level is low enough that you have a noticeable difference from say a year before, or 2 years before, or 3 years before. So it's where it becomes noticeable that men think, oh, I'm in andropause. But actually,
Right.
it's a gradual decline in testosterone coupled with being sedentary and high stress and poor eating patterns. So that's the good news. The good news is it isn't a definable condition. It has more to do with what you're not doing than what's happening with your body particularly.
Well,
I
I've
hope that
just
makes sense.
started something recently. Yeah, thank you. That was a good
Thank you.
answer, actually. Thank you for that. I've started taking something recently, testosterone matrix, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no testosterone in it. So how does it work? Do you know the product?
I think I do. I'm a little familiar with it. It's manufactured by actually the company that I do the medical education for. And testosterone
Yeah.
matrix actually is a great product for men who want to boost their testosterone to normal levels. It's not going to be like testosterone replacement therapy, but it's a good stopgap. And used in conjunction with measures that reduce your body fat, like exercising, like cutting down the starch, eating more proteins, you will start to notice a difference in your testosterone level. And the first thing you will notice when your testosterone level improves is that your personality, you'll develop a sense of humor again. You won't be as cranky. You will start to have more energy. You will not be as depressed. You will actually be able to focus, because all of these things are related to testosterone. Now, they could be related to other hormones and neurotransmitters, but when testosterone is a mixture of a couple of different ingredients. Some of them are nutrients which are correlated as low when you have low testosterone, so things like zinc and vitamin B6 and magnesium. And the two big ingredients that do all the heavy lifting, one is called ashwagandha. And I'm sure some of your viewers, or most of them, must know ashwagandha. It's a botanical that comes from India, from the Ayurvedic system of medicine. And this is an extract. And this extract actually has been shown in clinical studies to actually improve strength, stamina, and testosterone levels in published studies. So the dosage used is usually the equivalent of what you would find in 3 capsules of testosterone matrix. You will actually start to see a change in cortisol. There's a reduction in the study period, which was, I believe, some of the studies were 8 weeks, some of them were 12 weeks. You can see a cortisol reduction. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It gets reduced by about 28%. You start to see self-reported scales of depression improving by 80%. You also start to see in other trials, they've shown that strength increases substantially. So, for example, testosterone levels went up, body fat percentage went down, and muscle size went up, as evidenced by increased muscle strength and muscle size. So these, I would say, with this particular formula, you'd probably want to be on it at the label dose of 1 capsule 3 times per day for a minimum of about a month before you start seeing changes. And again, it's not going to be like getting a shot of testosterone, because that is an actual hormone that has a negative feedback where it actually cuts down on your normal testosterone production. And this is a great product for men who are still making testosterone, whose level has kind of decreased. And there will come a time in your life where you might need the actual hormone. But with activity, keeping your body composition lean, and cutting out the sugar, you can probably prolong that as long as possible. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
I'm going to jump in here, gentlemen, just for a moment. So, those of you who heard this product that Bruce is taking, I'll let Bruce talk a little bit more. However, wisdom at walkwithwisdom.ca, we can actually get that product to you. Bruce and I do coaching. So, we coach you integratively on what these supplements are. So, all the things that Andrew's talked about, they're nutraceuticals. Go back and look at the other, watch the other videos, please, because you'll see what a nutraceutical is. So when Andrew talks about what's in the testosterone matrix, they've actually done studies around it. Wisdom at walkwithwisdom.ca, you can get 15% off. Send me, Bruce and I, an email. Hey, we would like to get that. I'm happy to introduce you to it in that way. And Bruce and I are also available for coaching. We can go over more of what Andrew talked about, because Andrew, thank you. It's a wealth of information. We can't get it all in the show. So that's why Bruce and I are available to do it later on. Bruce, we have about a minute before we take a break. Can you do a little wrap up on just what Andrew said about this amazing product?
Well, I'm looking forward to the results. I've just started taking it a week or so ago. I was wondering why I didn't have bursting muscles so quickly, but now I understand. You did say though, best with exercise. I heard that. So if you just took this product,
Yes.
you didn't exercise, would you feel any different?
I'll get you to answer that when we come back, Andrew. We're gonna just take a short break to hear from our valued sponsors, and when we're back, Andrew is going to answer that. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you right back. Hi, everyone. I'm Genevieve Wisdom. Welcome back to Walk with Wisdom. We're here today with Andrew and Bruce. We're talking about men's health and youthful aging over 40 for the men. Now, there is so much here. We can't believe how fast the time has gone already. So, Andrew, you're going to have to come back and continue on what we started, especially about having our valued viewers. By the way, lots of comments, Andrew, asking about specifically what they can do. And so you gave a foundation, but now we're talking about nutraceuticals and supplementation. Bruce,
Mhm.
I think you asked the question just before the break.
Yeah, we're talking about testosterone matrix. Is that right? Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. Testosterone matrix. And when you were talking about it, you said take it and exercise. If you don't exercise, will it have any value on your testosterone levels?
I would say it depends, but if you don't exercise and your level of stress is up there, and whose isn't, you will definitely notice a difference, because the other effect of the ashwagandha and the fenugreek and the nutrients in there is to actually regulate that cortisol level and bring it into normal range. So you will improve your sleep, improve your ability to get up in the morning, and your motivation. So yes, I would say it is, but it's not going to be as tremendous as if you are training and exercising. Just because when you're exercising and you're moving, anything you do becomes amplified. So,
Right.
but yes, when I work with clinics and they bring the product in, they notice a definite difference within the first 4-week period.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Jen?
Um, Andrew, thank you. Thank you so much for your wealth of information. Everyone, obviously, this was just an introduction. And Andrew, there's so many more nutraceuticals that can go with the testosterone matrix. Bruce and I, when we started, we talked about the stacking effect of nutraceuticals. Could you come back maybe, let's say, next week and continue on this amazing topic of andropause, menopause, youthful aging for men? Do you think you're around next
Mm-hmm.
Friday, same time, same place?
I can make myself available.
I appreciate that, Bruce. I would love to have just your feedback, a little wrap up on what Andrew said today.
I think it's really exciting to know that there is a way out of this, a light at the end of the tunnel, if you would. I think the clear part is, though, start gentle, work into it. Get a what did you? Sorry, I'm going to check my notes here because it was a new one for me. Movement screen. Get a movement
Mm-hmm.
screen so that you can actually start working and strengthening those parts of your body you need to, so you don't hurt yourself. Don't pick up that pickleball racket and think, what a great idea. You'll blow out your ankles, you'll blow out your knees, or potentially. So get the screen, start exercise, start stretching, and move slowly into it. As long as you have a goal at the end. If pickleball is your goal, great, but build to it. I think is what I've sort of gathered today from Andrew. As well as when you're doing that, you lose your gut, hopefully, and you build your testosterone. So it's win-win-win.
Fantastic.
That's right.
And ladies, I know last show Bruce encouraged everyone to join in because I know a lot of times, gentlemen, I think you know this, the ladies, we will push the guys to, because men, they take care of the big picture. So sometimes they don't like you. And like you said, andropause isn't a stage like us. It's not a definite stage. It slowly
Mm-hmm.
declines. So a lot of times men just put their head down, they're working, and next thing you know, they're in a situation and they don't know what to do. So ladies, all of you, as we've been talking about menopause and youthful aging, please let the men in your life know about this. Now, Andrew and Bruce knows this. The whole premise of this podcast is youthful aging, looking good and feeling amazing, beauty from the outside in. So when we started talking about this podcast, those of us who know me, like you, know that I have an organic skincare line. And they were just going, you have to talk about this skincare line. And so I'm going to talk about skincare a little bit for men. On the menopause side, if you look good, if you have great skin, even if you're sweating, you've gained weight, now you've got lines. But if you have an organic skincare, organic being important that it doesn't put all the stuff in your body that now your liver and your gut and all the other things have to detoxify, your skin looks amazing. You feel good. There is something that the men actually like. And do you guys use skincare? Andrew, first, do you use anything on your face?
Only when my skin looks like it needs it. But actually, I do. Just a moisturizer. That's it.
Just the moisturizer,
What about
Bruce?
you?
I use a organic concentrated moisturizer as an aftershave. So after I shave in the morning, I apply a bit of the cream. So I do too.
Perfect. Well, I have an entire line and it's called Revive 25, revive25skincare.com. And I'm going to get you both a sample of what's called resveratrol toner. And both of you will know that because as we talk about aging and pain, there's an antioxidant component that just really helps everything work better. So this toner, it's amazing and men love it. My husband is in construction. Now the guys are going to know that he wears skincare. When I met the man, I got him an apple stem cell face wash. But what he loves is this toner because you just spray it on. It's not greasy for you guys, but it actually has your skin looking good. And we have about just a minute or so left. But Andrew and Bruce, just 30 seconds each on this. Does it work for guys the same way? If you get up and you look at your skin and you go, oh my gosh, I'm getting younger, and you look good on your skin, do you feel better to go and take the dog for a walk? Or when you put your suit on, do you have a little bit more of a thing like women do?
Me, I don't even think about it because I'm a little bit of a cap addict and I have a lot of hats that I put on. But
You cover it up.
but after the dog walk and I'm getting ready, then I actually look at my skin because especially my forehead and because I have a beard, so I don't really shave that much anymore. So yeah, skin health is really important for your face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the resveratrol actually freshens the face. So you can spray your face, put on your cap or your suit, and you're done. Bruce, what about you? Do you think if you look at your face and the skin looks better for a man, does that make you feel better like us girls?
I've been thinking about it since you asked it. I don't really pay that much attention to my skin, but I pay attention to what I put on it. And this is something I'd like to, all those classic aftershaves you buy are all chemicals. Remember, if you're putting it on your skin, it's going into your body. So really, this is why I like your your products, Jen, is they're organic. If they go into your body, it's not a bad thing. Resveratrol is an antioxidant. So I would suggest looking at what you're putting on your skin, because it won't look good if you keep putting chemicals on it.
100%. And by the way, Cytomatrix has a Resvera matrix, remember? At beauty from the outside in. So we put the toner on the outside. We take the nutraceutical, which, as you heard from Andrew, it's researched, backed with a lot of studies. You take that on the inside, you have a better result. Wisdom at walkwithwisdom.ca. Bruce and I can coach and counsel you and get in touch with Andrew if you have any questions. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And Andrew's coming back next week. We heard that. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Walk with Wisdom with host Genevieve Wisdom. Tune in each week as Genevieve will present powerful guests who will inspire you to make every step count. Whether you're walking your dog, tackling your morning run, or enjoying a quiet moment with your headphones, Walk with Wisdom is your companion for redefining what it means to age powerfully and intentionally. Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. Powered by B2 Studios. Take the first step with us, because wisdom isn't about what you've left behind. It's about everything that lies ahead.